Who is the Crimson Corsair? Alright guys, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'm trying to get up to 10 subscribers, but let's get into the video. The Crimson Corsair, the Blood Buccaneer, the Red Raider, Sidon Ithlano is his real name. So the Crimson Corsair is a male delphinian, which is a species specially created for the Crimson Corsair, and appears briefly in some other Star Wars texts and maybe movies as well. I know that there is mention of a delphinian in Star Wars Master and Apprentice, but he also wears a K-Leash helmet, which is the same species as General Grievous, and his helmet is made of playsteel. The Crimson Corsair can be briefly seen in Star Wars The Force Awakens when Rey and the crew basically go to Maz Kanata's castle. They are the ones who are going to take them to the Outer Rim. The Crimson Corsair also has his own short story, The Crimson Corsair and the Lost Treasure of Count Dooku. I'm going to be doing a review of that pretty soon, but that is an excellent short story and I highly recommend watching it. He also appears in a brief moment at the start of a Star Wars Resistance episode. I only watched the Resistance episode just to see what the Crimson Corsair holds in it, but he's basically trading some super battle droids, which ties into the lost treasures of Count Dooku as well. The Crimson Corsair also wields a blaster from Kaija Club. Overall, the origins of his weapon is unknown, but throughout all the images of the Crimson Corsair, he wields the same weapon, so it must be a weapon of notoriety or importance. The Crimson Corsair, to me, is definitely an interesting character because it's a mixture of a bunch of different Star Wars characters. I mean, his helmet, his weapon, his crew, and he is a brand new species that they made for him. He definitely is, like I said, a mixture of a bunch of Star Wars characters coming together, and I think that's what makes the Crimson Corsair such an interesting character, despite not much being known about him, which brings me to my next point. I would love to see this character be expanded more. He's definitely one of the coolest unused characters in the new trilogy. I would love to see him in his own animated show potentially, or expanded in a novel or a side character in a novel. But my dream would be is if the Crimson Corsair would team up with the Mandalorian in Mandalorian Season 3 or Boba Fett, because he is a pirate. You know, he has notoriety and he is legendary amongst some people, but most people just see him and they aren't aware of who he is, I would say, in the Star Wars universe. But to pirates and thieves and bandits, or, you know, the criminal underworld, the Crimson Corsair is very much well known. And there's a reason he's well known, and there are tons of stories that are just untold for this character, and I definitely want to see this character expanded. The Crimson Corsair has also seen the galaxy change a handful of times. I believe he was born sometime during the Republic era, and then obviously sees the New Republic and the First Order rise, and even, I think, a little bit past that, and he still is alive to my knowing. I don't think the character has been killed, but the character is still very much unknown. But with that being said, this character is one of the coolest characters in visual fidelity, and I think that really is appealing to Star Wars, and people want to see a cool character. And he's got a great short story, and the way that short story ends is I'm sitting in Ithlano, and I don't die so easily. And that, to me, is a fantastic way to end his short story, because it kind of tells you a lot about the character in such a brief moment, and what leads up to that, to me, sells me on this character, that this character is so much more, and it definitely needs to be explored more within the Star Wars universe.